Well, praise Jesus, everybody. This is Mike, and the audio portion will go on to my podcast, The Lookout Guy, and I'm Michael Tobin, The Lookout Guy, and I'm doing this also in video form. My first vlog on Rumble. I've been on Rumble for about 3 months, I'm guessing. And as it turns out, right now it's November 8th, 2020, 4:35 p.m. Pacific time. It's a Sunday. I've been on Parler. Now everybody knows what Parler is. Finally, I've been on Parler since June 7th of 2020. So yesterday was actually my 5th month anniversary on Parler. And as it turns out, ever since 2017, in earnest, in huge fashion, the scoffing began as soon as Donald Trump became president. I actually did a series on scoffing on my podcast. And in 2017, I read a couple of articles about Google and other social media platforms. Their behind the scenes shenanigans that they began pulling, and it wasn't the type of thing that people were paying attention to, but I posted it on Facebook, and I said, Google, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, they're going down. And nobody responded. It's just not the kind of thing that people were interested in. And that's another subject. What really I'm dismayed about is when you're supposed to be concerned about something isn't when the majority are concerned about it. And it's always a day late and a dollar short. But several times between sometime in 2017 and just a few months ago, I posted, I'm leaving Facebook. And immediately people say, no, don't go. We need you. The Lord needs you. We love to see your stuff and whatever. And now there's two now major conservative media platforms. Rumble is the conservative replacement for YouTube, and Parler is a conservative replacement for Twitter. As it turns out now, there is a huge push. And the people behind these two platforms is amazing. Congressman Devin Nunes, California congressman, and is a major part of Rumble. And they still have quality issues in downloading. I can't download recordings, but I can actually do live, which I'm doing right now, a live recording. And it's going to much more easily upload to my account on Rumble. And beginning yesterday, Parler, many people have been having problems, and it's because of bandwidth. As a platform grows, they increase their bandwidth. I remember Facebook and Twitter and Google or YouTube having bandwidth increases because of the demand. So Parler just got on board a very prolific person, Dan Bongino, who I have been following since I've seen him on Fox News a few years ago when he actually ran for congressman. I believe it was Maryland. And I'm like, who is this guy? This dude is awesome. He's a former NYPD, and he is former Secret Service. and he was on the presidential detail, so he's very knowledgeable. He just became part of Parler, a part of their corporate, and we're seeing it, folks. What I just want to share a couple of verses that have been weighing on me, and the one in Isaiah, a friend brought up, and I've been getting, because of this, quote, pandemic, and I have been staying home on a lot of Sundays, and it's not because I'm afraid of getting sick or getting somebody else sick. I am concerned that as soon as someone gets sick, the contact tracing thing is we need names and numbers of people who you have been around and in contact with. And it's like, I'm not going to be a part of that. People say, oh, I'll never squeal or I'll never snitch or whatever. I hate to say it, but I don't trust anybody. But it's not a matter of something that we have to walk around looking over our shoulder or any of that stuff. But it's just, I want no part of it. So if you're listening to this, it's because you wanted to see, hey, what's going on with Mike? That's another thing. I just, within the hour, I would say within the hour, it's 4:41, less than 41 minutes ago, I private messaged a friend who actually has been telling people we need to quit posting our thoughts on Facebook. We need to go to other platforms. And it's because the most valuable thing about liberal social media or any social media is your thoughts. And everybody's posting their thoughts. And all those thoughts are used for marketing purposes, mainly marketing purposes. But what about George Orwell's book, 1984? Or how about the Bold, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley? They all, not prophesied, but not prognosticators. There's political prognosticators, but forecasters. There's social and political forecasting. You could only tell from the 1960s, from the 1940s, and even before that, decades before the 40s, they knew what it was going to be like in the 40s. Decades before the 60s, they knew what it was going to be like in the 60s, and so on and so on. But people don't pay attention to anything until, one, their pocketbooks are affected, and two, literal members of their family or themselves are absolutely affected. And by then it's too late, because people have been telling people and upset, not for their own selves, but upset for society as a whole. Let's not allow this to happen. And because nobody listens, it happens. Because there are people in high places in politics that are forecasting things, and they have their bullet points that they want to check off and do. So, in a nutshell, surveillance society. Cameras everywhere. They even have microphones on lampposts in cities. If they hear an explosion or a firearms shot, they can literally tell what direction the explosion or firearms blast came from. All types of things. So surveillance society. We all say that we like privacy. Well, this is how we're going to retain more of our privacy. Stop posting your thoughts on specifically Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is what I'm going to do, what I told my friend that I'm going to do. And then minutes later, I saw Dan Bongino post on his Parler. He says, I hate to say this, folks, but all of my posts, my comments, are going to be only on one place, and that's my podcast. And that is word for word that I had moments before told my friend that it's been weighing on me for weeks. I've got to stop doing this. It's ridiculous seeing people's every personal thing that they could think of posting on a social media site. It's not only improper for friends and family and associates to be seeing these things, but the people that are working at the corporate headquarters or the worker headquarters that are behind the screens and their cubicles, censoring and stamping people's posts. Oh, this is partial information. Oh, this has got possible sexual suggestive comments on it, or whatever. The fact checkers say this is false, and or just deleting their comments and things like that. All you have to do now is say something about voting, and then Facebook stamps it. See latest voting results. I don't want every one of my posts or any one of my posts stamped with the Facebook stamp on it. I want a post that my friends could see. So what I'm going to do, which is confirmation that Dan Bongino, I know he, because of his Secret Service background and stuff, I emailed him probably twice at the most about some concerns, social and political concerns. So it's funny listening to him. He'll say something that I had said, and I'm like, oh, okay, he caught on to something. But it's not the Beautiful Mind thing, that movie where this guy, he literally went insane because he was seeing patterns in magazines and newspapers and things like that. But this is the danger that a lot of people are leading to, the appearance that they are actually becoming like that on social media. So it's literally destroying the minds of people. And it's getting people used to being surveilled with our permission. So from now on, if anybody wants to know about what my thoughts are on certain things, which it is very important that we share our thoughts, just like the gospel. The gospel means good news. And Jesus said to go out to the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Well, we need to be bold and realize that we do have something to say. Then if you look at history, in the Revolutionary War, they had their courier system, even with invisible ink, their messengers in the taverns, horseback, restaurants, whatever, they would deliver messages. Well, there's no total 100% way out of mainstream social media, but what I'm going to do from now on, I will post to Rumble, which is the conservative equivalent, not just conservative, just people who value privacy. The equivalent to the YouTube, it's conservative equivalent to YouTube, and I will post on my Parler account, and I will have links to what I post on the Rumble video, and I will post the links along with the title onto Facebook. So we don't have to 100% just delete our accounts on Facebook. Facebook is very useful, and since 2017, Facebook has become more of like a Palm Pilot to me. I probably post to friends or public 0.5% of what is literally actually on my posts. So it's like a Palm Pilot. You remember the Palm Pilots? Everybody had to have that big old square thing on their belt with their stylus. Take a note. Oh, I could do emails on this thing. Or I could do text on this thing. Wow, now it's on a little tiny phone, the whole computer. And so that's what I'm going to do. All my thoughts are going to be in podcast form and blog. I have a blog. If you want to see my blog, it's at michaeldtobin.blogspot.com. And from there, you'll see my Spreaker podcast links. I'm actually almost pretty much heard everywhere. I'm heard in India, Javsavan or whatever, some type of app. I'm on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and if you listen to iHeartRadio, their commercials say heard everywhere on iHeartRadio. I'm on like 8 or 9 podcast platforms. So I'll have my blog links with the title, and instead of typing out a status, what it is that I'm, thinking of, I want to share, instead of that, what if it's something important enough to share, I'll have it in my blog, my podcast, and or video, and I'll post the links. So that is how patriots and prayer warriors, believers, can fight back the tech giants. So that's kind of it for this. This is one of my thoughts that I felt it was important enough to actually take some time and talk into a phone screen. I even have 2 phones now, 2 cell phones. One I can do audio and one I can do video with, because I like going to music events and promoting indie music, Christian rock mostly, but Christian anything. Church services, all kinds of things, but it's very useful. I'm a minimalist, and my desire, of course, is to go anywhere in the United States at any time, because I've actually been a disaster response team chaplain with Billy Graham's association since 2003. It's unbelievable the hurricane damage and people that I've met from 2003 up until now. Even Franklin Graham's prayer stops, coast to coast, even Alaska and Hawaii, state capitol grounds, prayer rallies, did that. And he did another California one. He started 5 miles away from me, and I'm in Southern California, so northern San Diego County. He started there, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome, because I had to fly to Sacramento for the first one, and as sort of a gift from the Lord, it was just less than 5 miles, maybe 2 miles from me. So that was awesome. I was a part of that as a chaplain, and it seems like disasters are every week, every month, any given place in the United States now. So that's my desire as a podcasting, blogging, vlogging minimalist. I've got apps for everything I need to do. So all I need is a tent, a car that'll actually work. I've got a car that'll work, but it needs some rotors, front rotors, but I'm going to put all 4 of them on there with the heat-resistant coating on them. Corrosion resistant, but it's a Pontiac. It's a real nice Pontiac. But that's a little bit about me, veering away from what the subject about battling the tech giants. We've got to do this. You could do it. And my big request is for us to turn our backs on the tech giants and quit posting all of our thoughts. And if you have thoughts to post, make an app recording with a title and post it to your Facebook status with a link. And if anybody wants to see what you're thinking, the proof is in the pudding. They'll click on it. So that is the best way to fight the tech giants. No more are people going to be able to see just go and see what you're thinking about. If they want to see what you're thinking about, they'll be directed to a friendly platform. So for now, it's Parler and Rumble. There's one called MeWe, MEWE, and that never really took off. Same day that I subscribed onto that one, I got some weirdo. So I think they had trolls already in the waiting, almost like a Pinocchio cartoon. And those coyotes, the crooks, says to Pinocchio, "Hey, kid, come here." And Pinocchio, "Hey, how you doing? What do you want?" And then, these two hoodlums wanted Pinocchio to be a part of their thievery or whatever. So that's kind of like how I see trolls. They're in the shadows waiting to discourage you away from what your purpose is online. So let's use online for wise things and family and friends. That's what it was originally supposed to be for. And then we realized that we could pass out information on candidates, propositions, and voting issues, which is a wonderful thing. But as it turned out, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, all three of them, began censoring people and falsely labeling, like a literal stamp on posts, misleading information, partial information, or whatever. And it just got ridiculous. So it's time to turn our backs on the tech giants. That's how you do it. Find an app, make an essay, if you will, and then put a title on it, share it to Facebook. And if they want to read it, they can click on it. That's how that's the only effective way, I believe, that we're going to be able to cause those platforms to go down, because they need to go down. And that's it. God bless you guys. Oh, I wanted to share these two scriptures. One is from I'll revert back to, I've been doing online Bible studies with some people from all around the world. And it's awesome. But this one was brought up in the meeting, Zoom meeting. Isaiah 42:9, "Before they spring forth, I proclaim them to you." God speaks to us before things occur. And as an example, the Lord just put on my heart that big social media is going to go down. Well, it's going down now. I was right. I can literally find that post and repost it if I want to brag and say, "See, I told you so." A lot of things I could do that to, but I don't do that. And then in Amos chapter 3, verse 7, it says, "Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he reveals to his servants, the prophets." He'll reveal his secret to his servants, the prophets. And I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but I'm God's servant. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you are a servant. And I'm a servant. And the Lord reveals to us if we listen. There's certain things he'll reveal to you. There's certain things he'll reveal to me. But this thing with Parler and Rumble, this is it. This is the one that takes off. People were going to all these different ones, like I said, MeWe and some others, and they didn't take off, but these are taking off because it actually is something that is being used by God, maybe not blessed by God, but being used for the time being. So that's it. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day.